setting up for your Facebook Live.
Oh, it says we're live.
All right. We are live.
Yes.
Welcome to today's and this week's NASP community questions. That's the community questions with the National Association of Sales Professionals. So every week we have lots of questions submitted, and the question that came up to the top this week was, how do I stay out of overwhelm as a sales professional? Now, everyone in sales has been there. There's so many different things that we've got to do in sales. We've got to sell, prospect, go to all these meetings, travel time. A lot of times there's a lot of project management involved, and there's a lot of, well, actually, can you do this? Can you put this together? Oh, that's a great idea. Can you put this strategy on paper? Can you diagram that out? There's so many different things. The sales professional role can be quite easily grow into a lot more than we have time to do. So that leads to this week's question: how do I stay out of overwhelm as a sales professional and stay proactively on top of my game? So, Michelle, I'm going to hand it off to you.
I don't know if you all noticed, but he likes to play that game, ladies first, right? I know, but thank you. So, overwhelm. So, being a sales professional, and when you add into it my, chromosome of being a woman, overwhelm is something that is commonly talked about as women professionals, right? And I'm not taking anything away from the men, but I have my heart as women of sales and influence. But just to think that the way I stay out of overwhelm personally is I remind myself I asked for this. And it might sound counterproductive in the moment of that pain, in the moment of looking at a schedule that is back to back to back calls, and I still have deliverables that I haven't even started to dive into. And I have like a spouse, and I've got kids, and I've got commitments, all of these balls that are dangling participles, as I like to call them, are all these balls juggling. I go back to a place of peace. And I remind myself that I created a vision, and that's something that we do at the National Association of Sales Professionals, is we really empower people to understand that you must have a target. The only way to get back to a place of calm and peace and to be grateful for all the things that are happening is to understand it's part of a journey, a part of a path of where we're heading. So for me, I go back to what my vision is, right? And how is this helping me to become better? Because what we're doing is in life is we're asking for more, better, or different. Every day we wake up, we want something more, we want something better, or we want something different. And so we ask for it, right? Given to us by allowing us to become more, better, or different, right? There's no genie in Santa Claus. So if I want a better job, I generally sometimes people get let go. They say, I want a better job, and then they get downsized or fired, right? Or they get moved to a different department, or they get another supervisor, or all of a sudden they get all these new assignments, so the company's taken over by someone else and their territory expands. Your opportunity to show that you're better so that you can receive more, right? It's all about looking at the obstacle as the opportunity and the problem as the possibility, and making certain it aligns to the vision. When you don't have a vision, you don't know what to say yes and no to. So you end up saying yes to a lot more than is part of who you've decided to be or what you've decided to create. That's my little 2 cents. So
I love it. First of all, I asked for this, right? Well, now you've only asked for it if you actually have created a vision, which was the second thing you said. What is my vision? So if you're feeling overwhelmed and you don't have a vision for who you are as a sales professional, that's kind of the could be the first problem, or could be something to look at. Obstacles are the opportunity, problems are the possibility. I love that. That's great. So the cool thing about having Michelle, who's the director of global sales for NASP, and me on the call at the same time, is we get some different viewpoints. So what first came to my mind, I got a couple notes here when this question came up, is first of all, in sales, our primary outcome, certainly arguable, this is generalized, but is to make the most sales, create the highest revenue for the company, and create the most commission for ourselves. So the first question that came to my mind is, what could I do today that would create the highest revenue opportunity for me and for the company? and write that question out, and ideally maybe Sunday night before the week starts, so there's none of that Monday morning email pressure, emails flying in, and see what comes to mind. See what the most important things for me to do that week to produce the highest amount of revenue. And to tie it back into what Michelle said, if my vision is to create the highest amount of revenue, then that's operating from the vision. Now, also, I would want to ask myself, what are the key IPAs or income producing activities, not India Pale Ale, the beers, those are good too, but what are the most important income producing activities that are going to be more long-term income producing? And how can I make sure I fit those into my week? One of the core things that I've taken away from a lot of the training I've gone through is that there is scarcity. A lot of times scarcity is used as like a fear tactic in sales, but it's absolutely true in your life and in my life and in Michelle's life. We only have a set amount of time, a scarcity of time, and we have to be very vigilant with that time and let people know, I don't have time for this, I don't have time for that. I'm focused on this revenue, these sales, to bring in money for the company and to make sure the company grows and everyone's salaries get paid and all of these different kinds of things. So that's what comes to mind for me. Any other things that you'd like to add, Michelle?
No, again, I love this. I actually typed in the chat, what are the highest income producing activities that I can participate in today for myself and for the company? And again, going to those income producing activities, right? And that's the overwhelm, right? We always think we are focused on income producing activities, but there's never one thing going on in life, right? The ability to stay focused is it's a muscle you must create, right? Hoping that things will lighten up or it's going to get better externally is the deception that we get caught into, that focus on those income producing activities, that staying focused on participating in the highest amount of income producing activities is something that we generate from the inside. And as Rick has said, it's tied to that overarching vision, right? Who am I going to be as a top performing sales professional? Then you begin to look at what activities will align you to that. But without that, that internal target, the external begins to overtake us. And that's why overwhelm starts to happen, because the world is moving fast. There's so many options. There are infinite number of options that you can participate in. It's like squirrels, right? We talk about that all the time at the co-working space. Everybody gets caught in that squirrel. They say this is important. Last week, this mattered. This week, it doesn't matter. So what matters?
Income producing activities.
Always what matters is a sales professional. Well, we have one participant who's watching us who actually asked a question. So I don't know, do we want to respond to this question? Hi, Luther King. He said he wanted to know, how can I start a sales negotiation with a prospect I don't know?
A sales negotiation with a prospect who doesn't know. So first of all, if you don't know the prospect, the first thing I'd want to do is reach out to that prospect and start, building rapport, start building a relationship, start understanding what is on that prospect's mind. What are their frustrations? What are they looking for? What's their problems? And this is a great question that I like to ask is, if you were to be able to solve that problem, what would it look like after and how would it feel? And then you get a really good idea of what that prospect who you described, what his or her mindset is, and they're kind of where they are mentally at that point. And then from there, if your product or service is a fit and you believe that, then now we can kind of negotiate and say, listen, I know and I'm confident that I can solve the challenge and the problem that you just described. And I can help you get to that place that you just described with your problem being solved, both how it feels emotionally and what it looks like logically. And then of course, we all know how much our products and services cost. But I love to ask someone before I throw out numbers and things, what investment are you expecting to solve this challenge? and kind of start there. Michelle, what would you say?
No, I mean, I would agree everything what you said, because, you know, people buy for emotional reasons and they justify with logic. So emotionally, that's that connection that we call that KLT, that know, like, and trust, right? How do I get to know someone first, right? It's not just a matter of selling someone. We talk about the art of influence is encouraging and inspiring people to say yes for their own reasons. So understanding what their reason is, and when my product aligns with their reason, then they'll be encouraged and inspired to say yes. But first, I want to get to know them, and I want to ensure that my product is a fit, right? If it's not a fit, then that's okay. I can still create advocacy. I tell people, top performing sales reps know we don't get 100% of the sales, and we always get 100% of the advocates, right? Because you can always work with those people later, and there's opportunities where your name will come across their desk and they will speak of you highly. So you always want to leave people better off for having spent time with you.
Awesome. And are there any other questions?
No, that was from Luther today. And Luther, thank you for asking. We love the engagement and the opportunity to be of value and service to you.
Thank you, Luther. Awesome. Well, that is our question and answer and extra question and extra answer for today. Thank you for joining us. If you have not yet joined the association, click the link in the above description and join our complimentary membership. Lots of awesome bonuses like our daily sales success program, our seller style assessment. If you haven't taken that, you definitely want to jump in, and our complimentary sales coaching call as spots are available. So thank you for joining us, and we are tuning out for today and look forward to talking again next week.
Yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
You.